Hi, I'm the PC Expert Amateur, and I want you to be careful when you shop on places like Alibaba, AliExpress, and Temu. So, for the past month plus, I have been evaluating Temu to see whether it is a safe place, a good place, etc. And right now, I want to focus on just one tiny aspect of Temu where I encountered an actual scam. Well, two in one, let's put it that way. So I saw these advertisements on Temu for opals. And I love opals. I love dark opals and fire opals, not the white ones. I find them to be bleh, but I love the dark ones. So I'm going to show you the two listings that I bought from. But first of all, this was sold as a chunk of genuine raw opal, natural. And this was sold as a natural black Ethiopian opal. And it's really hard to show you in the bag, so I guess I'll take it out. Looks better against dark stuff, so let's see if I can do that. It's not so easy. Take my word for it, it's pretty. It's pretty. But anyways, let me show you the listings and what I did. So here's the listing for the Ethiopian opal. You'll notice in the title it says natural, AAA quality. Now, I do have to admit it is an attractive opal. It does bear a resemblance to genuine opals. However, it's not natural. This is a synthetic opal. So presumably, all of these opals are synthetic. Now let me show you the chunk. This one also says natural. Unfortunately, whereas with this one, you might be able to sell it for a little bit more than you paid for it, which I paid $325. You might actually get a little bit of money for it, telling people, "Hey, this is a synthetic opal." It's they're thin, they're somewhat transparent, but on a black background like this, they'll look nice, and you can potentially get somebody to pay, I don't know, $5, $10, $15. It's hard to say for sure. You'd have to take it to a jeweler. This, on the other hand, is not opal. It's not even a gem. It's not even stone. And when I saw it, I was suspicious about this one in particular before I even bought it. But I thought, well, give it a try. So here's what I did. I happened to have, as part of my investigation of this website, I had purchased a microscope for my daughter for her Christmas/birthday gift. And she's an aspiring veterinarian. So I put it under the microscope, and I got confirmation pretty much right away that it was fake. So I saw air bubbles inside. I saw contaminants that shouldn't have been in there. And on one side, if you look at it, it looks like these chunks have been like chiseled out of something, right? They've been chiseled apart. And maybe they were, but on one particular surface, I could see markings that were consistent with it having once been a liquid that was poured into a plastic bag, and then they waited until it solidified and hardened, and they removed it from the bag and broke it into chunks and sold it. I went and with the opal, the actual synthetic opal, I put it under the microscope too. And I wasn't convinced that it wasn't an opal, but I was convinced it wasn't a natural opal. I was seeing colors I'm not an opal expert, but I was seeing some colors, especially this bright pink, that I had not expected to see. And the graining of it was not like most types of opals. There is a type of opal that has graining that's similar to that. Where when I say graining, I don't know the actual word. It's how the different colors look like they're broken up into little blocks or whatever. So I actually went to a jeweler with decades of experience, and I showed him this chunk opal, and he immediately said it was plastic. I mean, it took him like 2 seconds. And I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. Because I just handed it to him. I didn't tell him anything about it. I just asked for an evaluation. And when he looked at this one, it took him a little bit longer, several seconds, but he said it's synthetic. And I said, yeah, that's what I figured. And then I told him where it came from. And he's the one who informed me that you might be able to get a little bit of money for these. So if you're in the market of buying fake opals, synthetic opals that is, and then reselling them for a little bit of a profit, you might want to use this. But here's the catcher. Or not the catcher, but the thing that bothered me. When I had figured it out and had confirmation from the jeweler, I called Temu and I said, hey, these 2 opals that I ordered are fakes. And I explained what I've just explained to you. And the Chinese lady on the other end, and I can tell by the way she was speaking, her accent and all that, expressed concern and said that they would take care of it. It's been like 3 weeks, and as you just saw, those items are still available for sale. In fact, I informed her not just about those 2. I said many vendors are selling these pieces of plastic and these synthetic opals as natural. And she said, we'll take care of it. And they've done nothing. It didn't really surprise me. It's China. China is trying to undermine our I guess you'd call it not so much manufacturing base, but they're trying to undermine all the companies here that are selling things by selling their things for less. And in some cases, selling fakes, fake jewels and gems, fake art, fake antiques, even fake food. For those of you who don't remember, it's been like a decade now, but there was this incident that happened where it was discovered that pet food made in China was made with melamine, a type of plastic in it, in order to fool the testers into thinking there was more protein in it than there really was, because melamine has protein in it. Not too surprising, since natural plastics are made from natural sources that, or fossilized or whatever, like oil. And there was a big uproar about it, and at least one executive there or something like that was executed by the Chinese government because it was really embarrassing for them. And it wasn't just pet foods. There were baby products and groceries as well. And a few years after that happened, I had a student whom I was teaching English to, who she would go to school in China, and then when she wasn't in school during summer break, and she would come to Indonesia and she would be taught English. And I asked her and her father about that problem, and he said, oh yeah, it's still happening. And he was in like Dongguan or Guangdong or something like that. It's more of a coastal area, a big city. And he said, oh yeah, you got to be careful. They've got fake eggs and all. You cook it, it looks like an egg, but it's not an egg. And there's fake rice and all kinds of stuff. So yeah. So there's a lot of attempts by Chinese companies to undermine American companies, which is ironic because we've got American companies sending all their manufacturing over to China. which destroys the job base in manufacturing in this country and leaves us vulnerable because these companies have invested billions of dollars or millions of dollars or whatever, sometimes like Apple, in Chinese manufacturing plants rather than having a third party do it for them to ensure the quality is better. If they want to leave, they have to abandon, if not all, then at least the building, if not the equipment. And it might be cheaper to abandon the equipment if it's not really, really expensive stuff, if it's not really new also, than to haul it back to the U.S. or somewhere else. Anyways, I digress. So I just wanted to make you aware that if you are shopping on Temu, be very cautious about any gems, any jewels, any semi-precious gems and pearls, and even I would suggest be careful about any raw stones that could be faked using plastic too. So just a little warning, I will be releasing my full review of Temu in the next several days, I hope. I'm pretty much done, and it's not all bad. There are good things too. So, but stay tuned. I should clarify that this problem with the gems isn't limited to these opals. There are listings that are misleading, where they're selling synthetics and they're not explicit that it's a synthetic, or it uses names that you might not be familiar with, like moissanite or moissanite, sorry. So you do have to be quite careful, and also a lot of the jewelry is just cheap costume jewelry. So be aware of that. You're not getting a great deal. You're getting costume jewelry, cheap stuff. It may be made of metal, but it's still cheap. It's not made with real gold or silver. They'll call it silvery, for example, or gold-like, something like that. But also, and this is more on general lines of problems with listings, I've seen a lot of listings that are deliberately vague. So I will search, for example, for a computer case, and I'll get a bunch of stuff that comes up, and from the photographs, it looks like it is a computer case. But when I read it carefully and look carefully, and I have to do it quite carefully sometimes, I see it's actually a fan or fans for a computer. But that's not obvious because the photo that introduces you, the thumbnail that is chosen to show you the fan, is often a case with the fans in it. And that is very misleading because it makes you think, ooh, look at this, $6. I can get a computer case. Yeah. Now, granted, if you look carefully, you can get very, very cheap cases, especially on like Alibaba and certain other websites, where you can pay $10, $20. Of course, these are generally older cases, but yeah, you can get a case really cheaply. A lot of times on Alibaba, it's like you have to buy a lot of 100 or 200 or whatever, but with the old stuff, they'll sell them by the piece. And another example is I was looking at PC cases last night, and I came across one that said that it was going to be $3 for a computer case. And I was like, and it said mega deal or something like that. And I was like, huh, is that why it's $3? Because, you know, I've never seen that low of a price on a case before. And so I went into the listing because I was just looking at the thumbnail. And I looked at the listing, and there were two options. So I clicked on the option thing, and it shows me the first option is the case. The second option says in the picture, only 1% of people chose this. And then it's a picture of a data cable. And I'm like, wait a second. this is confusing because on some websites, like say Newegg or Amazon or a bunch of other places, if you choose a different version of the product, it'll take you to a different URL, a slightly different listing. It'll all be different. But this on Temu, it doesn't take you to a separate one. It keeps you on the same listing where everything is just kind of put together. So this vendor or manufacturer had deliberately listed a case and a separate option for a cable as if they were one, that you were going to get everything that was shown, and you have to look at it very carefully. I was pretty sure that it was just the cable, because why else? I mean, even if it says mega deal, which, does kind of make you think you're getting the case and the cable, and that it was a trick to see if customers were paying attention, and the customers who paid attention and bought the cable would get the case for free. But I did contact customer service, and they said, yeah, it's just the cable. And the case is just the case. You can buy both of them, of course. And I was like, yeah, so. And there are others that I have seen, different kinds of products, and it's not just computer products, where it is not clear what you're getting. You may think you're getting something that's in the picture that you desire, but you're getting something else. So be very careful to look through the pictures and all the text to determine what it is they're really selling, or you'll get ripped off. Because Temu, in my experience, will not change this either. Because I've told them about this. I've told them about misleading words. I've told them about the problem that I just described. They don't fix it. They don't care. Just like Amazon doesn't care. I'm not sure if Newegg cares or not. I don't think so, though. So just be careful. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Need to ask for your help. I'm sorry. On December 11th, 2024, Amazon terminated me and used false accusations against me. And on December 17th, I had my left shoulder operated on. I'm getting a lot better. I can do some things with my hand and my arm, but it's still pretty limited. If you could please help me out by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, and turning on notifications for my channels, that would really help. If you want to help me financially and you can afford to, you can go to my Glenn's Fast Reviews and you can do a super thanks as a donation there. If you want to donate on a monthly basis, you can become a member there. Or you can go to patreon.com/GLENNMII. So thank you for that. Also, I'd like to say thank you to bleepingcomputer.com for allowing me to post messages on their forum about my videos. Thank you so much. And don't forget to visit them. They offer a lot of wonderful resources for people who are using computers. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.